The other day I was texting a friend about the Queen's Gambit, going back and forth about what enneagram type Beth Harmon might be. It was a pretty intense debate, and at the end I was inspired to make this video. Typing fictional characters is a personal hobby of mine, and I thought it would be interesting for me to lay out all my reasons why I think Beth Harmon is a 5, and then ask any viewers out there what they think. I like typing fictional characters for 2 reasons. First, the Enneagram can be a pretty vulnerable tool, so using it on fictional characters is safe. Secondly, when I first discovered the Enneagram and realized that it could be applied to fictional human beings, it made me realize what a nuanced tool this truly was. I am fascinated by the fact that authors and writers who have never even heard of the Enneagram are still writing characters who have an Enneagram type. It shows me how deeply rooted the Enneagram personalities are in human nature. Like Neo seeing the code of the Matrix for the first time. Applying the Enneagram lens to fictional characters is my way of vetting the believability or consistency of the character. Odds are the more fleshed out the character, the easier it will be to identify their Enneagram type. If you are unfamiliar with the Enneagram, you should probably watch this playlist that I'll link in the description box below that my friend Sophie and I made last summer. It's a really beginner-friendly introduction to what the Enneagram is, how it works, and more detail about each of the 9 numbers that make up the Enneagram. I'm also going to be covering a little bit more advanced material in this particular video about Beth Harmon, but you should be able to find free information anywhere on the internet about any of the topics that I'm going to cover. That all being said, let's dive in and explore Beth Harmon's inner motivations. For those of you who need a little refresher on the type 5, their nickname is the Investigator, and their core fear is that they are unable to handle the world due to incompetence. So to fight against that, they spend most of their life building up large quantities of expertise or knowledge in a specific skill or area of expertise, piece of information, in order to feel safe. 5s also fear having their energy drained and therefore are usually a little more on the introverted side. And lastly, 5s are in the head triad, which means that they move through the world primarily with their mind. Like many 5s and other withdrawn numbers, Beth consistently moves away from humans and towards her personal interests.
You should be upstairs with the others.
I don't want to be with the others. I want to know what that is you're playing.
She doesn't have the easiest time fitting in with the mainstream crowd, and instead seeks to find a place she can feel safe and take refuge in, which is her area of expertise.
Is there a school chess club?
What?
Is there a chess club here at the school?
Oh, I don't think they have anything like that.
Notice here that she doesn't necessarily want to make friends, she just wants information. Many 5s have a cerebral quality to their personality.
There's 57 pages about it in the book, with 170 lines stemming from P to QB4. I'm gonna memorize and play through them all in my mind.
Poor man.
But the clincher for me is when Beth explains why she loves chess so much.
It's an entire world of just 64 squares. I feel safe in it. I can control it. I can dominate it. And it's predictable.
Many 5s metaphorically hide from the world behind their vast wealth of knowledge or expertise in a specific thing, and that's exactly what Beth does with chess. Being a withdrawn number, when 5s aren't in a good place, they tend to self-sabotage. There are plenty of times in Beth's life where she goes it alone, getting into drug and alcohol binges and shutting other people out.
I'm going to Cincinnati. See a movie? So I won't be home tonight either.
When she loses to Borgov in Paris, she has the worst spiral of her life. She rejects offers to be with others and holes away in her house, getting stuck in her own head and resorting to alcohol and drugs to numb herself.
That's my girl.
Beth develops an interest in fashion from an early age. And as she gains the financial means to express this interest, she goes all in.
My stars, you look... Wow.
Thanks.
I actually enjoyed watching the evolution of her outfits quite a bit throughout the show. I believe this comes from the influence of her 4 wing, which would care more about self-expression and aesthetic. And compared to 5s who lean into their 6 wing, Beth is far more introverted, introspective, someone who has a lot going on in her inner world, but may not make that immediately apparent to those around her, relatively speaking. Most 5s tend to withdraw away from people or things that would sap their energy, but the sexual 5 is a bit different from its counterparts because sexual 5s have a counterdrive that seeks intense stimulation or an immersion into the object of their obsession. In Beth's case, her obsession is clearly chess. Her desire for intense fusion and stimulation, as with most sexual instincts, pulls her into the world of chess tournaments with constant travel and press coverage, a world that most 5s may not otherwise want to be exposed to due to their tendency to value privacy above all else. And instead of feeling exhausted by this whirlwind of activity, Beth actually seems stimulated by it. Sexual subtypes of the Enneagram tend to push the boundaries of what they can experience in life in order to feel a stimulating enough energy to feel alive. Beth Harmon is intensely competitive, which I think is a strong enough reason to connect her with the Enneagram Type 3. 3s are ambitious and driven, and this girl does not like to lose. But chess for her is first and foremost about finding a place to belong. I think her difficulties in accepting losses can be traced to a 5's core fear of incompetence. If she's not the best at what she's chosen as her place of refuge and expertise, then what solace is there for her in that? How can she move through the world then? Another reason why I don't think Beth is a 3 is what happens when she fluctuates in levels of health. An unhealthy type 3 would become increasingly aggressive and manipulative in trying to make other people admire them and look up to them and think they're the best. But when Beth lowers in health, she shuts people out and self-destructs.
Chess isn't always competitive.
No, but you play to win.
Yes, but chess can also be
What?
beautiful.
There is also a case for saying that Beth might be a type 4 because of the way, as I mentioned earlier, she's deeply introspective and feels things very deeply. But sexual 5s can actually be mistyped as 4s due to the fact that they tend to be a little bit more emotionally open or expressive relative to their other type 5 counterparts. And sexual 5s tend to suffer a little bit more the way 4s might. Ultimately, her cerebral nature and the way she uses chess to hide in a place that she feels safe in is what makes me think she's a 5 first and not a 4. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. This is my first time making a video all by myself, so let me know what you thought in the comments below, and if there's anything else you'd want to see in future videos like this. Also, leave me a comment about what you think in terms of my assessment of Beth. Do you agree or disagree? The beauty of typing fictional characters is that there is no right or wrong answer, and it allows people to debate the Enneagram, which I think is useful for people to learn the Enneagram better. What numbers do you think Beth Harmon is? Again, thanks for watching. Bye for now.